I like businesses that I can impact, where I can put my time and my resources and make that business more valuable. So I'll invest in a business that I know I can help or I can impact. And so that has like a mismatch of value where you can buy at one price, and by you being involved, that entrepreneur is the one trading the time for that. And so that's another, quote, asset class.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had a lot of those opportunities. I've invested personally in a few small businesses as well, which very rewarding, because it is still pairing a little bit of time with that capital, but it's very, very rewarding to do that. And then on my passive stuff, the real estate syndications have been invaluable to me for being able to scale my money without having to scale my time involvement in it. Because there's just, at the end of the day, I remember I even looked personally, I was going to go buy some mobile home parks back in the day. I went out and I traveled through the Midwest for probably 2 weeks, going from these different parks to parks and looking at the whole package. And what I learned from this is that this is not an easy business. It's not just buy it and put a manager in. There's active things that have to go on with it. And so I went through that and I realized, you know what? Having somebody else manage this is really dang attractive. And so that was the direction that I went with that. And it's just been invaluable to me from an entrepreneurial standpoint. It's allowed me to spend my time and focus on what I want to focus on.
So if a client comes to you with $1 million, you're going to suggest that they open up a warehouse, which has a limit on how much you can put in.
So with $1 million, we'd probably, if you had $1 million of capital, we'd probably open up somewhere about $100,000 a year of a capital warehouse. And we plan on doing that for maybe 5 years.
Which means that you can essentially move in 5 years' time. You could put a total of $500,000. So half of that million can go into this other bank account, if you will.
Correct.
Yeah, and then
the other $900,000 in year one, because you have $900,000 still to work.
Yep.
We would then go passively into other investments. So we go into private placements, syndications, things like that, where you are able to passively invest and not have to have any time tied up in it. That's all dependent on what you want to do in your situation. If you only have $1 million, if you only have it, and that's not your passive money, we may reserve some of that to go into your next venture. Because a lot of times you sell one business and you look for your next opportunity. So we want to store some liquidity there.
I'm sorry. It's just, I had a brain fart at one point where I had my money and then I, on paper, like allocated where I was going to put... I'm going to put $1 million into here. I'll put
on your whiteboard.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And what happened next was, then I was like, great. I think I had calculated that I would have $30,000 a month in passive income, and still have enough in the bank. And I was like, great. Like I'll never have to work again. Yeah. I'm good. It'll be super. This is safe allocation. I'll still have access to a lot of money. And then I was like. Great, and then I can just start the next business. And I was like, oh shoot, all my capital was just allocated over here. What about the money that I'm going to reserve for the business? Right, yeah, so that's smart. Allocate a piece for the next thing. Yeah. So your $1 million strategy, put as much as you can into my goodness, Sam, let me finish it.
Sorry,
let me summarize what you're saying before you go back into smart people land.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so to put a percentage into a warehouse, let that grow. As the next year, you'll put a little bit more into that. And with the money that's left over, put that into the opportunities that you see come up now, whether that is you have an asset class that you want to invest in now or you want to put it into the next venture. If you want to put it into index funds because you have no other place to put it. And then as the warehouse grows, that is your wait for the perfect opportunity. That's wait for the home run play or wait for the play.
Compelling play.
The compelling play. That's a better word.
So real quick here, I think one of the things that you have to do is it's so tough to just say general broad advice of what do you have $1 million. You never know what each person needs. So you think about why are you making money? So when you think about why do you get up in the morning? Why do you make money? And why do you care about passive cash flow? Why is any of this important to you? And you start thinking, you start going, that's a deeper question. That's the kind of question that, I forget the name of the guy, the one thing guy, would say those questions you don't answer right away. You think about it a little further. And you think most people, when you're thinking of why you build your business, why as an entrepreneur you go through that grind, is because of the lifestyle you want. It's because you want to be able to live a lifestyle where you do not make decisions based on where my next paycheck is coming from.
Yes.
And that's a fair statement for where most people come from. That's step one. Then step two is there's probably things past that of making an influence and a difference. But you almost have to take care of yourself first to be able to get to that mental spot where you can think bigger. And so for most people, the question is $1 million. If we can turn that into $100,000 a year of cash flow, depending on where you live, that can either make you a pauper or make you wealthy. The question is what are you trying to get to? What is your goal when you think of your passive cash flow? And that's why my model is build a base, use life insurance, buy cash flow, and you don't really give yourself permission to go to stage 3, which is speculate, until you've built that base wide enough that your cash flow is in excess of what you need to be comfortable.